The European Peace Project, Manifesto for Peace, the 9th of May 2026. Warmest greetings from Ireland to all our friends all across Europe who are reading this Manifesto for Peace today, individually and in groups, in your homes, towns and villages. We are with you all in the spirit of friendship, justice and peace. One message and one voice in many languages. Today, the 9th of May 2026, more than 80 years after the end of the Second World War in Europe, a war that claimed the lives of 60 million people, including 27 million Soviet citizens, we, the people of Europe, raise our voices once again. We note with concern that since our last declaration, most European governments and the European Union itself has still refused to pursue diplomacy with Russia in order to establish at last friendly cooperation relationships and to bring about an end to the US-NATO proxy war in Ukraine.
Inniu an neolabialtana fihe sé, nís mó na 8 bliain iní ggéire an dara coga damhanda san Europe, coga a bhara nís mó na 60 milliún duine, 27 milliún Seránach arabas an Aontas Sóivéadach ina measc. Muidne, Seránig na Eorpa, ar díomid ar glártha a ríis. Tugamid faoi deara agus imní orin tuisc bliain umláin inig an dearmhathe a rinne mar a Norig, nach bhfuil rialtais na Eorpa sásta go fóil dul sa tóir ar chailóireacht leis an Rúis, chun deireadh a chur leis an seachchoga NATO atá ar siúl san Ukraine.
We are appalled that a war that has already been decided militarily and has already cost the lives of far too many people on both sides is being prolonged in an irrational attempt to destroy Russia and to buy time for the redivision of the world in this monstrous and lethal game of poker. We mourn the growing number of dead, soldiers and civilians, in a senseless war in Ukraine, a war that is tearing Europe apart, and once again we call out in full voice, Europe must stand for war, never again.
Tá uafás an domhan oring gur sucríonn an coga cuimhlintí ar bhealach míleatá, agus gfuil costa saol na líne ró ard ar gáthíomh, na líne tosaigh, fadítar an coga agus spruc neamhréasúnta ar seo, gur scris airgeadis a haingt ar an Rúis, nu chun sína ama a áil go dlithe ratha atá ann, chun atheilt an domhan a bhainteach. Cuoiníimiid mar gheall ar an méid úchanna saidóirí atá ann san Ucrán, coga gan cíl, coga gan trócra, coga atá ag répa na Eorpa agus a céile agus dhearmíimiid go cá go háard, ní mór go seasach an Eorop an fód, ná tarlaí cogaigh chuige a ríis.
We are alarmed that the EU and some EU governments are now depriving innocent civilians, including authors and journalists who dare to question their policies and strategies, of their civil rights, placing them on arbitrary sanction lists and denying them their freedom of speech and freedom of expression, contrary to the rule of law. We wonder at our governments, parliaments, and more recently our courts, officially attributing the bombing of the Nord Stream pipeline to Ukrainian perpetrators, contrary to the widespread belief that agents of the United States were the masterminds behind that terrorist attack. We are frustrated and angry that the entire EU bureaucracy, in conjunction with the EU member states, has so far failed to come up with a united, viable, peaceful and forward-looking European response to the new US military strategy?
Táma tar éis an scéalta chreide eáil san Aontas Eorpach, Aontas a míoch bróidear forlámhas an dlí a bheith mar chríoga, go bhfuil macnamh déinteaige nó ag lucht an Aontas Eorpach réadmhaoin rúiseach atá san orba chuigistú is sóú ar an dlí idirnáisiúnta. Tá scanar uring go bhfuil an Aontas Eorpach agus roinnt rialtas de chuid an Aontas Eorpach ag chur srianta ar chearta sibhialta na Saránach Sinanta. Chomá le cearta, údar agus iiriseoirí a cheistíonn polasa agus stratéisian Aontas. Cuirtar iad ar listí smachtbhaní tralacha agus a chuí sin déintear damáiste de urlabhas an dlí agus saoirse cainte i mbealach uafásach. Is ina ling go gurn ar rialtas parlamentí agus le déanaí ar gúirtena búmáil an fiblína Nord Stream le déintóirí cionnta Ucránacha in anún fínse. Tis nach raibh aon duine i rialtas na Garmán nó rialtas elas an orb golóir chróga na stáisiúnta anamnú mar príomhúdar an ansa seo. Tá frustragus agus fargan down uring gur hip ar bhéarlachas an Aontas Eorpach ar fád cumála buil an Aontas Eorpach go dtí seo aon ragart aontaithe inmhartanach a chuirtar stratéis sláindála nua na stáisiúntathe.
We must put an end to the subservience of the European Union and European governments to the United States, which tramples on international law in Palestine, the Lebanon, Venezuela and Iran, and also mocks Europe. The so-called Western world order has been shattered by its own double standards. We need a peaceful, neutral Europe, emancipated from the United States, which formulates its own interests and assumes a mediating role in a multipolar world. Together with the BRICS countries, Europe must strengthen international law and support the UN Charter and build a bridge between East and West. We, the people of Europe, are therefore taking our destinies and our history into our hands. We advocate for a new European security architecture with Russia based in mutually regard and respect and on the peaceful resolution of disagreement and conflict. We extend our hands to the citizens of Ukraine and of Russia. You both belong to the European family.
Ní mór deire a chur le cúmpar slávánta rialtais an Aontas Eorpach agus na Eorpa I let na Stáit Aontaithe. Tír a shiúlann go trám ar an dlí idirnáisiúnta sa Palestine, sa Libán, Venezuela agus san Iran agus a dhéanann magad an Eorp. Tá ord damhanda an iarthar is smidaríní de bhór a chaidán rúmháilte féin a ghlacha thar na blianta. Tastíonn Eorp neodrach síocháinte uainn, fúscailte ó na Stáit Aontaithe, ilchríoch a churann a leas féin chun tosaigh, agus a bhfuil ról idirgóhála aige in nabhainn ilfealach. Ba cheart an Eorp in aondaí leis na tíortha BRICS, an dlí idirnáisiúnta agus cort na náisiún Aontaithe a chreisiú, agus dhrithead a chruthú idir an iarthar agus an iarthar. Tá muidne saoránaigh na Eorpa chun ar gcinúnt a réadú agus ar scéal a bhreith. Mulamíd altarachta slándála Eorpach nua a bheith ann mar gheall an Rúis, chuirmid fáilte ribh saoránaigh na Ucráine agus na Rúise. Is cuid dar dailech Eorpach sibh. Dearbhíomid saoránaigh na Eorpa, nílamíd a man coga leis an Rúis nó le haon tír eile. Ní bheidh muid ag ghlachapáirt na cluichí coga gan chiall, agus tá líon na níine atá den túram chéine leis seo ag méadú. Ní tiontóimid ar díortha ina láthir chatha. Ní tóimid ar mic agus ar na nínacha ina saidúirí catha, nó ibrithe leish in ospidéal bhíleata.
We object to the waste of billions of European taxpayers' money on the arms industry. Money that should be used for the welfare of our people and for the protection of our natural environment.
And as Ireland prepares to take up the presidency of the Council of the European Union, we here in Ireland call for the abolition of the so-called European Peace Facility and an immediate investigation into its use as a means of dual funding from European taxpayers' money, weapons of war and militarisation, with a full public report of its findings. And we call on the European Commission to establish instead a real peace agency, which will be a treaty-based, professional, non-military, peace-building and mediation institution, modelled on the successful architecture of the European Space Agency. Its mission will be to prevent, resolve and transform conflicts across Europe and neighbouring regions through expert mediation, research and rapid response diplomacy. The new European Peace Agency will work with and under the auspices of the United Nations. It will only engage in peacekeeping mandated by the United Nations and will always work within international law.
We, the people of Europe, hereby declare we are not at war, neither with Russia nor with anyone else. We will not participate in the increasingly absurd war games, and our numbers are growing every day. We will not turn our children into soldiers to kill and to die on the battlefield. We will not stand by and watch our future and that of our children being sacrificed on the altar of power politics and our beautiful Europe destroying itself.
Ní cheasmid siar agus ar dócaí ar báistí a bheith á íbert ar altóir na polítíochta. Is mór an trúa go bhfuil ar Nórap áling á scrise féin.
Wir, die Bürger Europas, erklären hiermit, wir sind nicht im Krieg, weder mit Russland noch mit irgendjemandem sonst. Wir machen bei den zunehmend absurden Kriegsspielen nicht mit. Und wir werden jeden Tag mehr. Wir machen aus unseren Männern und Söhnen keine Soldaten, aus unseren Töchtern keine Schwestern im Lazarett und aus unseren Ländern keine Schlachtfelder. Wir werden nicht zusehen, wie unsere Zukunft und die unserer Kinder auf dem Altar der Machtpolitik geopfert werden und das schöne Europa sich selbst stranguliert. Mein Los war der Tod unter irischem Himmel und ein Bett in Irlands guter Erde. Was ich geträumt, geplant, band mich ans Vaterland, aber mich wies der Krieg zum Schlaf in Glencree. Leid war und Schmerz, was ich verlor und gewann. Wenn du vorübergehst, sprich ein Gebet, dass Verlust sich in Segen verwandle.
It was for me to die under an Irish sky, there finding birth in good Irish earth. What I dreamt and planned bound me to my fatherland, but war sent me to sleep in Glencree. Passion and pain were my loss, my gain. Pray as you pass to make good my loss. From Sten O'Brien.
A bhraithfeáin consacheol in aice an Caréil. Tá an tíocáin ar fáil in uair glas chuoin seo gael, chun labba in Glencree. Tre fianad is tre féin I géin son mo hir. De thug mo canúint mé, a ghuine dul haar brád, fan, is manam gui, nach in aisce fuair spás I géin son na síthe.
Long live Europe in peace, justice, friendship and freedom.